The video you're about to see first aired on our NFL Draft-focused YouTube channel. For all our different NFL Draft coverage from all the different channels here at Chat Sports, make sure you're subbed over there, youtube.com/chatNFL. Today we break down the latest ESPN 2024 NFL mock draft. This one from Matt Miller, who I don't always agree with, but that's what makes the draft part so fun. Is worth mentioning here off the top, the draft order is based on ESPN's FPI, not the current order. I don't like that decision, but so be it. What does not change is the number one overall pick is currently held by the Chicago Bears via the Carolina Panthers. This pick is Caleb Williams. The Bears are going to have a fun but also tough decision to make. Do you ride with Justin Fields? Do you take Caleb Williams? Do you take Drake Maye? Do you trade the number one pick? Do you trade Fields? A lot of decisions to make there. Do you keep your head coach? 4 games left to go to maybe get some more clarity on that front. But assuming Chicago does get that number one overall pick, should the Bears draft a QB at number 1 overall? Y for yes, N for no. Go ahead and sound off for me in the comments section. The Patriots have the easier choice. Take whatever quarterback doesn't go number 1 overall. That is Drake Maye out of North Carolina. Someone I saw on ESPN claimed that he was Eli Manning-like. It's not a good comp. Maye can move. I think more Justin Herbert is an accurate comp there for Drake Maye. It's the number and the wristbands for me that kind of helps sell that one there. Big talent, be a great pick for the Patriots. Arizona, also the easy choice then. The selection is Marvin Harrison Jr. In theory, you would then build around Kyler Murray for at least one more year. Now you've got all this talent at wide receiver, which they've actually kind of thrown a bunch of picks and trades in recent years. I think Harrison is the best prospect in this year's class. Won't go number 1 because he's not a quarterback, but the talent is absolutely undeniable. Here's your first surprise. The Giants picking number 4. Again, it's based on the FPI and not the actual draft order. Actual order has the Giants at 8, even because they've beaten the Commanders twice. I digress. I don't like the FPI order, but we'll deal with it. Jayden Daniels is the selection here at number 4, the Heisman Trophy winner. I think especially from like the highs, some Lamar Jackson stuff in there. Daniels is better on the deep ball than Lamar is and was coming out. I think Lamar's better, kind of more of some of those middle of the field stuff from that perspective. If the Giants kind of bottom out and the Tommy DeVito meme kind of dies out as well, then the Giants would certainly consider a quarterback in the top 10, in the top 5. But it would be a far jump from a league that was like, nah, we're not going to draft Lamar Jackson at the back end of round 1, and his own team passed on him for a tight end, to we're going to take a similar-ish player in Jayden Daniels in the top 5. Will he be, Jayden Daniels, the LSU Heisman Trophy winner, a top 5 pick? 1 for yes, 0 for no. It is the pinned comment on today's video. If the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there, let me know 1 or 0. The Commanders at number 5 take Olu Fashanu. Guess quarterbacks, if you're picking 5, you're sure you're not going to take a quarterback? Either way, I digress. They take a very talented, still not 21-year-old offensive tackle out of Penn State. Dallas Turner is the pick here. Matt called him the best defensive player in the class. I think he might be, but we're also talking about is he a lock top 10 pick in a normal defensive class? I'm not so sure. I would have maybe gone Joe Alt, helped out my offensive line, but I do like what Turner brings. This one will be controversial. J.J. McCarthy, number 7 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Shedeur Sanders is going to go back to school. Quinn Ewers going to go back to school, it sounds like, too. I don't know about McCarthy. I liked a lot of the stuff I saw earlier this year, but in some of those later season games, it was just like, we're going to run the football. They kind of got away from the McCarthy passing game. He was great on third downs this year. The skill set's there, but the translatable plays haven't been nearly as much as other quarterbacks. He's a boom or bust player at number 7. Number 8, Malik Neighbors. Here's an explosive playmaker for Caleb Williams. plus whatever pick you would potentially get for Justin Fields. I think you'd move on from Darnell Mooney in this potential scenario. Number 9, love this pick for the Jets. I think Joe Alt he's neck and neck with Olufoshun, who 1A, 1B. He was that great this year for Notre Dame. This would, in theory, help out Aaron Rodgers, who in theory is back next year from his Achilles injury. I still don't think he comes back this year. Jets are kind of clinging to playoff hopes, but they won, so maybe it'll happen. Number 10, the Los Angeles Chargers, Brock Bowers. I like Bowers. I don't think he's the same, blocker that some of the better tight ends are, but treat him as a playmaker. I think he's the second best one in this class behind Marvin Harrison Jr. Tight end's not the biggest need for LA, but it's not a great defensive class, and Bowers is kind of I don't know who to send to this team, so I'm going to give them the best player on the board mock draft pick at this stage. Now, who here has had a stressful time trying to buy tickets for a last-minute sports, music, comedy, theater event, whatever? If that is you, well, fear no longer. Game Time is here with killer deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, last-minute deals, and their best price guarantee. Game Time, simply put, takes the guesswork out of buying tickets to your next big event. You can see the view from your seat. Just kind of take the phone and move it left, move it right, up, down, whatever, and you'll get a great feel for where you're actually going to, especially if you're going like maybe on a road trip to a stadium you'd never been to before. You want to get a better feel for where you're actually going to sit. They've also got zone deals, which is you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats. That's an average of 18% savings when you go that route. We're also giving you $20 off by using promo code NFLChat when you download the Game Time app at gametime.co and create your account. Link and the promo code will be in the comment section and the description of today's video. It's promo code NFLCHAT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but check the comment section and the description for the link to create your account, download the app, and the deal NFL chat. Terrion Arnold, number 11 here. I guess I'm now in the minority that I like Kool-Aid McKinstry more. It's not a slight on Arnold. I think he and A.J. Terrell are a really good 1-2 punch moving forward at the cornerback position for the Atlanta Falcons. So no major complaints on that front. I don't know if Jeffrey Okudah is really going to be a long-term piece for them. Jared Verse, again, really weird to me how lowly Seattle is viewed by FPI, but Seattle's 6-7, so it happens. Someone's got to be in this 6-7 range. Jared Verse at FSU. The Seahawks have invested a lot in the defense, and they've not gotten the best results. So throwing picks at it, I think, does make some sense. Keon Coleman to the Saints here. We'll go back-to-back with the Pittsburgh Steelers taking Rome Odunze out of Washington. Both these guys are big-bodied, physical playmakers at wide receiver. I think I give this, I don't know who I'd actually take over Coleman and Odunze. Both guys are very talented players. If you're going to move on from Michael Thomas, move on from Deontay Johnson, could make sense for both those teams. All right, Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. The pitch here is going to put Guyton on the right side, which I think is fine. I think this is a little rich right now. Miller's kind of saying it's going to be a riser, so I appreciate the projection on that front. But the Rams do need an offensive line help, so I have no issues with the position. 15 seems a little bit rich for Guyton, for me at least at this stage. Could change, of course. Number 16, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Colts have tried some corners. They drafted Juju Bretz in the second. He's been a bit banged up lately. Jalen Jones actually played decently, but adding an impact cover corner in McKinstry, I think would be a really good thing. No picks this year, but teams aren't throwing his way. I think that should mean a lot in terms of evaluating these top-end cornerback prospects. Now, we want you to join us here on our NFL Draft YouTube channel for even more videos on team-specific coverage. We'll have a Commanders mock draft for you, and we will have a more general NFL draft coverage too. Hit that sub button right now. Here's your first major surprise of this mock draft, Ennis Rakestraw out of Missouri. Denver has two good corners, Pat Surtain and Jaquan Millen's played great. The other outside corner is a question mark on the, for coverage help there. I like Rakestraw. He checks off my box of LSU did not throw his way at all, as Matt points out. There was one target. That was it. 17 is early. In a mock draft that does not feature Cooper DeJean, but by the way, I think that's a mistake. Number 18, Jayden Newton out of Illinois. Receiver could be an option. Two guys going to be there. I like adding a bit of an undersized but disruptive defensive tackle. I like Newton a lot. And then you'd eventually move on from B.J. Hill, play both guys for the time being. I'm actually on board with this pick. Number 19, and this is kind of a back-end wide receiver fest, and this 8 receivers taken, which would be the most ever in a draft. Xavier Worthy, big play machine. I do get a little bit anxious about, he's listed at 172. It's not a very big frame there. This is your Mike Evans replacement. Worthy offers some return value potentially as well. Top 20 is a little bit rich for me there. I do like the Kalen King pick here. Look, he did not play well against Ohio State. Marvin Harrison Jr., what are you going to expect there? It's kind of like A.J. Terrell vibes, he got torched by Chase. Turns out Jamar Chase is just a top 5 receiver or whatever. So I'm not going to ding King that much for me, and corner is a big need for Arizona. J.C. Latham for the Green Bay Packers. I think this is great value for a right tackle. I think Latham offers a lot of power as well. Like that selection for Green Bay. Love this one for Nate Wiggins to the Minnesota Vikings. Their defense has wildly exceeded expectations. I think they still need more cornerback help with maybe some edge help too, with some uncertainty there. Speaking of edges, Liatu Latu out of UCLA, who the implication here is that he fell because of medicals. I think only on what we've seen so far, I think you make a great argument. Latu is actually the best defensive prospect in this year's class. Now, the medical stuff has to be all sorted out. I don't know how great he's actually going to test, but the production at UCLA this year was absolutely incredible. Did medically retire briefly at Washington, transferred to UCLA, so some shades of Jalen Phillips from that perspective, I suppose. Who do you think is the best defensive prospect in the 2024 class? Sound off for me in the comment section right now. Another impact edge here, Chop Robinson. Would have loved the Jayden Newton fit, but he's already off the board there. More pass rush would be useful. It's all upside with him. The pure production is not there, but the athletic numbers absolutely are. Kind of like, I'm drawing a blank on Odafe Owe. Similar vibes coming out of Penn State. Great athlete, not great production. Xavier Leggett had a massive breakout year for South Carolina after doing very little previously. Big frame, 6'3", 227. I don't know if he's really going to be a top 25 pick. The team's a bit rich for me, but he'll be a top 55 pick, I think. Detroit Lions, Brian Thomas Jr. Not sure what the future holds for Jamison Williams, but Thomas is 6'4" and can fly a bit as well. He and Amon-Ra St. Brown and asterisks, I guess, on Jamison Williams is certainly a fun wide receiver trio. Here's the 8th receiver, A.D. Mitchell out of Texas. Look, Mitchell he's a weird one for me. That sometimes like the ball tracking, I don't know if I did that one well enough there. There's the occasional drop, the still kind of more upside than like full-fledged, massively proven talent. Did have 800-plus yards this year for Texas. Love the height, weight, speed combo. I could see him sneaking in the back end of round 1. I wouldn't be shocked if he even went before Xavier Worthy did. How many wide receivers do you think end up getting drafted in round 1? There's 8 in this mock draft. That would be a record-setting number. 7 was the previous mark back in 2004. Sound off in the comments. I don't like this pick for my Dallas Cowboys. JT Tuimoloau is a good prospect. I think he's more traits than production, like a lot of these back-end guys are. My issue is that the first word is there's no clear-cut need in Dallas right now. Yes, there is. It's offensive line. Tyron Smith in the last year of his deal. He might retire. Tyler Biadasz is in the last year of his deal. Offensive line's an obvious need, and there were several good ones on the board, including several who did not get drafted, that I would have gone with before taking another edge when you have Micah Parsons, Tank Lawrence is under contract, you have Sam Williams, You might take an edge. This is maybe your long-term Tank Lawrence placement. That's fine, but I think that O-line might make more sense as we sit now for Dallas. Kamari Lassiter, I actually don't mind going Georgia corner to Philadelphia. That actually does make some sense. The Miami Dolphins here, taking an offensive lineman. Maybe this is your eventual Teron Armstead replacement. Kingsley Suamaitai out of BYU, who's was a little bit more up and down than I would have liked this season, but there is plenty of traits and intrigue and talent there for the Cougar. Chris Braswell out of Alabama goes to the Ravens. Suppose that's fine because you got to replace Jadeveon Clowney, at least long-term there. There have to be defensive players, right? This is the 13th defensive player in this mock draft, which is very few, very light relative to like the common draft era. You have like all the picks, etc. I don't know if Braswell's the right guy, but he could sneak in the back end because it's just not the same level of defensive talent there normally is. Finally, the right tackle out of Oregon State, Taliesie Fuaga. I love this fit. I don't think Colton McKivitz is that great of a prospect there. I think Fuaga is a fun fit for San Francisco. Offensive tackle certainly makes sense. All right, who did Matt Miller leave off of his 2024 NFL mock draft? I've got some names we'll go rapid fire on, but I want to hear from you guys first in the comments section. The big misses for me. Amarius Mims, I love him as a left tackle prospect. Upside, maybe goes pro, maybe does not, but there's a lot of talent there. I think he should sneak in round one. Cooper DeJean, he's a really good prospect. Can play all 5 spots in the secondary. I don't know how he didn't go in round one. Amika Ibuka, you can put all those receivers in, leave off the other OSU guy, and I think leaving off Troy Franklin's a mistake. I think he should go over guys like, the Texas kids, etc. I think he's too dynamic. I like Denzel Burke a lot out of Ohio State. Other offensive linemen, Troy Fontenot from Washington, Graham Barton are probably going to kick inside the NFL. I think Patrick Paul has ability. Quinion Mitchell, the Toledo corner, is actually really good. Under the radar name because he played at a MAC school, but he's awesome. And I always love my safeties. I think Tyler Nubin, when it's all said and done, will be my number 1 ranked safety this season.